If your lower back is sore right now, I want you to pause for a moment and really hear this. You have not ruined your back. You have not done something stupid, and this is not the beginning of a slow decline. Most people I see in clinic say the exact same thing. I don't even know what I did, I just moved. And that uncertainty is often more frightening than the pain itself, because when pain appears without an obvious injury, your mind fills in the gaps and it usually jumps straight to the worst case scenario. Today we're going to take that fear out of the equation. This is not a quick video. It's long on purpose because when your back hurts, you don't want snippets. You want the whole picture. In this masterclass, I'll guide you through what's exactly causing your back pain, what to do when pain flares suddenly, how to restore movement safely, and finally, how to make your back strong and resilient again. Most people only ever reach pain relief. Very few reach confidence. If you stay with me right to the end, you'll understand why. If you're new here, I'm Gavin Noble from Gavin Noble Physiotherapy here in Lisburn and from the Gavin Noble 10X Physio channel. I specialise in helping people aged 50 and over stay mobile, strong, pain-free and out of a doctor's office. And I want to say this openly, I'm over 52. I understand what it's like to wake up stiff, to hesitate before bending and to think twice before lifting something that used to feel easy. This isn't theory, this is lived experience and decades of seeing what exactly works in real people. One of the biggest reasons back pain feels frightening is because people don't know what's actually hurting. Most people lump all back pain into one category. I've hurt my back. And their mind immediately jumps to the worst possible conclusion. But your lower back isn't one structure. It's made up of discs, joints, muscles, nerves, and ligaments, and they all behave very differently. That matters because the way pain behaves gives us clues, and those clues are often far more useful than most scans. So you don't need a scan to understand your back. You need context. When you understand why something hurts, fear drops. When fear drops, tension drops. And when tension drops, pain starts to settle. Let's start with disc-related pain because this is the one people fear the most. Discs get a very bad reputation. If someone hears the words disc bulge or slip disc, they often picture something fragile or permanently damaged. That's not how discs work. Disc-related pain is often worse with sitting, especially long periods. You may feel stiff first thing in the morning. Bending forward can feel tight or uncomfortable. And sometimes, but not always, there can be pain into the buttock or leg. Here's the important bit. Disc pain sounds scary, but discs are strong, adaptable structures. They're designed to take load. They're designed to move, and they respond incredibly well to the right movement. A disc bulge does not mean your spine is out of place. It does not mean you're fragile. In fact, most people over 50 have disc bulges and don't even know it because they have no pain at all. The scan didn't create the pain, the sensitivity did. Muscle-related back pain behaves very differently. This is often the one that comes on suddenly. You bend, twist, reach, or stand up, and your back just locks. It can feel tight, gripping, or like it's gone into spasm. Often it's tender to touch. And very often this is important. It actually feels better with gentle movement. So think of your muscles like an overprotective friend. When they sense a threat, they don't ask questions, they jump in front of you. They tighten up, they restrict movement. That's not damage, that's protection. Joint-related pain is extremely common over 50, and it's also one of the most misunderstood. This pain is often more localized. It feels worse after rest, like getting out of bed or standing after sitting. But once you get moving, it often eases. You might notice stiffness, clicking, or an achy feeling rather than sharp pain. Stiff joints do not mean damaged joints. They usually mean joints that haven't been moving confidently enough for a while. So think of joints like gears. If they sit still too long, they don't run smoothly. Movement is what keeps them healthy. So here's the most important thing to take from this section. Most people don't have just one type of back pain. They have a blend, a bit of disc sensitivity, a bit of muscle guarding, and a bit of joint stiffness. And that's really normal, which is why the solution is rarely complete rest. Before we move on, there's something really important we need to clear up. Because even when people understand what is hurting in their back, many still don't get better. And that's because of myths. Beliefs that sound sensible are repeated everywhere. But quietly, these keep people stuck in pain for years. If you're over 50, you've almost certainly heard at least one of these. So let's go through the 5 biggest back pain myths I hear every single week in clinic and explain to you what's actually true. Because movement only works when fear gets out of the way. Now, myth number 1, my spine is wearing out. This is probably the most common belief of all. People say to me, "Sure, Gavin, my back's sore, it's just wear and tear." And on the surface, that sounds logical. But here's the truth. Your spine is not like a car tire. It doesn't just wear down and become useless. Your spine is living tissue. It adapts, it remodels, it responds to how you use it. And just like muscles and bones, it actually stays healthier when it's used, not avoided. Getting older does not automatically mean your back is falling apart. Think of 2 doors in the same house. One is opened and closed every day. The other hasn't been used in years. Which one squeaks? Stiffness usually comes from lack of use, not damage. Now, myth number 2. If it hurts, I must be damaging it. This belief keeps more people stuck than almost anything else. They think, if I feel pain when I move, I must be making things worse. So they stop bending, they stop lifting, they stop trusting their body. But pain does not automatically mean damage. Pain is a warning signal, not a damage report. Pain is influenced by many things: sensitivity, fatigue, stress, fear, lack of movement. 2 people can have the same back. One has pain, the other doesn't. Think of pain like a smoke alarm. Sometimes it goes off because there's a real fire. And sometimes it goes off because you burnt the toast. Loud doesn't always mean dangerous. Now, myth number 3. I need perfect posture to protect my back. This one surprises a lot of people. For years, people were told, sit up straight, don't slouch, protect your spine. And people become terrified of moving the wrong way. There is no single perfect posture. Your spine is designed to move. It wants variety, not rigidity. The best posture is your next posture. Staying stiff and upright all day often creates more tension. Gentle movement, position changes, and comfort are far more important than holding yourself rigid. Myth number 4. Bending is dangerous for my back. This myth causes huge fear. People avoid bending like it's forbidden. They squat awkwardly, they brace constantly, they move like they're fragile. But here's the truth: strong backs bend. Avoiding bending doesn't protect your back. It makes bending feel more threatening when you finally have to do it. Your spine is designed to bend. What matters is how prepared it is, not avoiding movement altogether. If you never use a movement, it becomes unfamiliar. And unfamiliar movements feel dangerous, even when they're not. Now, myth number 5. I'll never be pain-free again. This is the quiet belief many people carry. They don't always say it out loud, but they think it. This is just how it is now. And that belief changes how they move, live, and plan their life. But here's what I want you to hear clearly. Most people over 50 who understand their back, move it properly, and build strength do get better. That doesn't mean zero discomfort forever. It means pain stops being in control. It means flare-ups become manageable and confidence comes back. Let's put this together. Your back is not worn out. Pain does not always mean damage. Perfect posture isn't required. Bending is not dangerous. And improvement is absolutely possible for people over 50. Most back pain persists, not because of injury, but because fear changes how people move. Once fear drops, your body becomes far more responsive. And that's why what you do during a flare-up matters so much. Now, let's talk a little more about scans. There's one thing I see all the time in clinic that I want to talk to you about. Someone walks in, sits down and says, "Gavin, I've had an MRI and it doesn't look good." They haven't even told me what's sore yet, but they already sound worried. And that tells me something important, because very often it's not the scan causing the pain. It's the meaning attached to the scan. So let's talk honestly about scans, what they show, what they don't show, and why they can sometimes make back pain harder to recover from. First, let's be clear, scans like x-rays and MRIs are excellent tools. They're very good at showing structure. They can rule out serious problems. And when there is a red flag, scans are incredibly important. So this isn't about ignoring medical care. It's about understanding what scans can and cannot tell us. There is one big problem. Scans show structure, not pain. And here's a key point. A scan shows what your back looks like. It does not show how it feels. And it does not show how well it functions. Scans show structure, not sensitivity. Pain is an experience created by your nervous system, and that experience is influenced by many things: movement, stress, fear, sleep, confidence, and past experiences. And they're all individual. A scan cannot measure any of those. So let's talk about some of the words people see on scan reports. Words like degeneration, disc bulge, wear and tear, arthritis. These words sound frightening. But here's what often isn't explained. Degeneration is one of the worst words in healthcare. It sounds like things are falling apart, but in reality, it often just means age-related change. Trust me, I know I'm 50 years old as well, but anyway, it's like grey hair or wrinkles. They're changes, not injuries. Most people over 50 have changes on scans. Many of them have no pain at all. This one here is really important. So disc bulges, they're extremely common. In fact, studies show that the majority of people over 50 have disc bulges and don't even know it because they have no symptoms. A disc bulge does not equal a painful back. The scan didn't create the pain, the sensitivity did. Here's the part people don't expect. Sometimes scans don't reassure, they alarm. People read the report, Google the words, and suddenly they're afraid to move. Fear changes how you move. You brace more, you avoid bending, you move stiffly. And that protective behavior can actually keep pain switched on. The scan becomes a story, and the story shapes your recovery. Think of it like this. A scan is like a photograph of a car. It can show scratches, dents, and age-related marks, but it tells you nothing about how well the car drives. And pain is about how well your body drives, not what it looks like parked. Now, to be very clear, there are times when scans are necessary. If there's unexplained weight loss, night pain that doesn't change, significant trauma, progressive weakness, loss of bladder or bowel control. These are red flags and should always be checked properly. But the vast majority of back pain people experience, especially over 50, it's not dangerous. What matters far more than a scan is how you move, how confident you feel, how your pain behaves day to day, and how your body responds to gentle movement. Function matters more than findings. I've seen people with terrible scans and very little pain. And I've seen people with clear scans who are very sore, because pain is not a photograph, it's a lived experience. And the good news is, lived experiences can change. Once you understand this, once you stop viewing your back as fragile, your body becomes far more responsive to the right care. And that's why what you do during a flare-up matters so much. People ask me this all the time. Gavin, why did this start now? I didn't fall, I didn't lift anything heavy, I just moved. And that uncertainty can be very unsettling. So let me explain this clearly. Back pain rarely comes from one bad movement. It usually comes from accumulation. Think of your back like a bucket. Everyday things slowly fill it. Less movement, more sitting. Stress, poor sleep, stiffness, previous flare-ups. None of these cause pain on their own. But over time, the bucket fills. Then one small movement, bending, twisting, reaching, is the final drop. And then pain appears. Here's the important part. The last movement gets blamed. But it wasn't the real cause. Your back didn't suddenly fail. It simply reached a temporary limit. And limits can be expanded again. That's why blaming one movement creates fear. And removing that blame is where recovery begins. When back pain hits suddenly, most people do one of two things. They panic or they freeze. They stop moving, they lie down all day, they avoid everything that feels uncomfortable. Some are told to stretch aggressively, others are told to push through. Both can backfire. Pain is information, not a command. It's your body saying something feels different, not you're broken. So let's calm things first. Heat can be helpful if your back feels tight or guarded. It helps muscles relax. Cold can be useful if pain feels sharp or irritated, especially early on. There's no rule here. Use what feels soothing. That might be lying on your side with a pillow between your knees, or lying on your back with your legs supported on a chair, or sitting upright with your back supported and feet flat. Comfort is not weakness. Comfort is your starting point. Trust me, I've had back pain myself. I have been stuck at home having to sit on a dining chair with pain in my back and into my leg. So I know exactly what it feels like and what that you can do. Once you've found a position that feels safe, gentle movement becomes incredibly powerful. Not to fix anything, not to stretch aggressively. Movements to calm pain when your back is sore. If your back is flared up right now, your goal is not stretching, strengthening, or fixing anything. Your goal is to calm the system. These movements are not exercises. They are signals to your nervous system that movement is safe again. So movement one is pelvic tilt. So you're going to lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Let your arms relax by your side. Take a slow breath in. As you breathe out, gently flatten your lower back into the floor. Just a small movement. You're not forcing it. Then relax and let your back come back to its natural position. Think of it as a gentle rocking motion. Slow, smooth, comfortable. If it feels tight, that's okay. If it feels relieving, that's perfect. If it feels sharp, stop. This movement gently lubricates the joints of the lower back, reduces muscle guarding, and tells your brain. We're moving and nothing bad is happening. That's how pain begins to settle. So do 8 to 10 slow repetitions once or twice a day during a flare. Movement 2 is a single knee hug. So you're going to stay on your back, bring one knee slowly towards your chest. Use your hands to support the leg, don't yank it. Hold for about 3 to 5 seconds, then gently lower the leg back down. Swap sides. You're not trying to stretch aggressively, you're just letting the back soften. This reduces pressure in the lower back, relaxes protective muscle tension, and gives irritated tissues a break. Think of it as turning the volume down on pain. 5 reps each side, slow and relaxed. Movement 3 is our rock back or child's pose. So you're going to come onto your hands and knees. Hands on your shoulders, knees onto your hips. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, slowly rock your hips back towards your heels. You're trying to almost sit onto your heels. Only go as far as feels comfortable. Pause, breathe, then gently return to the starting position. No forcing, no pushing through. Stop before pain. This movement takes load off the spine, restores gentle movement, and reassures the nervous system. It's like saying, we can move without danger. 6 to 8 slow repetitions. There's something people say to me all the time that I want to talk about. They'll say, Gavin, some days my back feels okay, and other days it's awful, and I haven't done anything different. That inconsistency is frustrating, and for many people, it creates even more worry. They start thinking, what's going on? Why does it flare for no reason? Am I doing damage without realizing it? So, let me reassure you straight away. If your back pain goes up and down, that is very common. And it doesn't mean something new is wrong. To understand why, we need to talk about fear, stress, and sleep. Pain is not just a message from your back. It's an experience created by your nervous system. Your brain is constantly asking one question: am I safe right now? When the answer feels uncertain, pain becomes louder. Pain has a volume control, and fear, stress, and poor sleep all turn that volume up. Now, let's start with fear, because this one is subtle. When you've had back pain before, your body remembers it. So the next time you bend, lift, or move a certain way, your brain becomes cautious. You might brace, you might hold your breath, you might move stiffly. And all of that sends a message to your nervous system. This movement is dangerous. That message alone can increase pain. It's like walking on ice. You tense up, not because you've fallen, but because you're afraid you might. Now, let's talk about stress. And I don't just mean emotional stress. I mean life load, busy days, poor sleep, worry, deadlines, caring responsibilities. Your nervous system doesn't separate physical stress from mental stress. It just registers load. When stress is high, your body becomes more sensitive. Muscles tighten more easily, pain thresholds drop, and things that normally wouldn't bother you start to feel uncomfortable. Think of it like your inbox. When it's empty, one email doesn't bother you. When it's full and overflowing, even one more feels overwhelming. Now, sleep is one of the most overlooked parts of recovery, yet it has a huge impact on pain. When you don't sleep, well, your nervous system doesn't reset properly. Pain sensitivity increases, inflammation can increase, and your ability to cope with discomfort drops. This doesn't mean poor sleep causes damage. It means your pain system is more easily triggered. A tired nervous system is a sensitive nervous system. So when someone says, "Why does my back feel worse today?" the answer is often not, "You injured it." It's more likely you slept badly, you're under more stress, you're more cautious with movement, your nervous system is on higher alert. That's not weakness, that's physiology. And I want to be very clear about something here. This is not pain in your head. You're not imagining it. Your pain is real, but it is modifiable. When fear drops, when stress is managed, when sleep improves, your pain system quietens. This is why gentle movement on a stressful day still matters. Not to push through it, but to reassure your nervous system. Even small, calm movements send a powerful message: I'm safe. And that message matters more than you actually realize. Once you understand this, once you stop blaming every flare-up on damage, movement becomes less frightening. And that's where real recovery begins. Once people start moving again, a new worry often appears. Am I doing too much, or am I not doing enough? That uncertainty keeps people stuck. So let's simplify this. Some discomfort during recovery is normal. Muscles working, joints moving again, tissues adapting. That does not mean damage. Discomfort is information, not injury. Here's a simple rule I use all the time, the 24-hour rule. After activity or exercise, ask yourself, how does my back feel 24 hours later? If it feels the same or better, you're on the right track. If it's mildly sore but settles, still okay. If pain keeps building for days, that's feedback to adjust. Now the other side of this, doing too little, also slows recovery. Complete rest makes tissues less tolerant. And the less you move, the more sensitive your back can become. So remember this, your back doesn't need protection, it needs guidance. Once you understand that balance, movement stops being scary and starts becoming part of the solution. So, next, let's move into the rehab phase where we start restoring movement confidence properly. So now we're moving into our rehab phase where we restore movement and trust. Once pain starts to settle, the goal changes. Now we're rebuilding movement confidence. Not flexibility, not strength yet, confidence. So movement 4 now is our cat-cow. So come onto your hands and knees again. As you breathe out, gently round your back upwards like stretching cat. Let your head follow naturally. Then breathe in and gently let your back soften downwards. You're not forcing an arch, just letting it move. This should feel smooth. If you feel pinching or sharp pain, shorten the movement. Your spine loves movement. This feeds the joints, improves coordination, and reduces stiffness. It also teaches your brain that bending is safe again. You want to do 8 to 10 gentle reps. Movement 5 is our hip flexor stretch. So you're going to stand in a staggered stance. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Gently bend the front knee while keeping your chest upright. You should feel a stretch in the front of the hip on the back leg. Keep your lower back relaxed. No arching. Tight hips force the lower back to work harder. When the hips move better, the back can relax. Hold this for 20 to 30 seconds and do 2 reps on each side. Movement 6 is our thoracic rotation. So you want to lie on your side with your knees bent, arms straight out in front of you. Slowly open your top arm towards the ceiling. Let your upper back rotate. Keep your knees together. Move only as far as comfortable. If your upper back doesn't move, your lower back does too much. So this shares the work. You want to do 6 to 8 slow reps on each side. Movement 7 is our hip hinge re-education. Okay, so we're going to stand with your feet hip width apart. Place your hands on your thighs. Push your hips back slightly, letting your chest lean forward. Then stand tall again. This is not about how far you go, it's about moving without fear. Strong backs bend, fearful backs avoid. Again, we want to do 8 to 10 easy reps. There's a stage in recovery that doesn't get talked about enough. Your pain has improved, you're moving better, but there's still a quiet worry in the background. It sounds like this. What if I set it off again? So you move carefully, you second guess yourself, you avoid certain tasks, and slowly, without realizing it, your life starts to shrink. This section is about stopping that from happening. I want to be very clear about something. Your goal is not to protect your back from life. Your goal is to prepare your back for life. Confidence comes from doing, not avoiding. When you avoid everyday activities because of fear, your brain never gets the chance to learn that these movements are safe. So the fear stays. And when you finally have to do the movement, it feels bigger, scarier, and more threatening than it needs to be. It's like avoiding driving after a small crash. The longer you avoid it, the harder it feels to start again, even though your ability hasn't disappeared. Let's start with walking, because this is one of the most powerful things you can do for your back. Walking gently moves the spine, it improves circulation, it calms the nervous system, and it rebuilds confidence without stressing the back. If you're nervous, start with short walks. 5 minutes is enough. Focused on relaxed arms, easy breathing, and upright posture. Not stiff, not forced. You're not testing your back. You're reminding it how to move. Now, let's talk about real life, because rehab exercises only matter if they help you live better. When you're doing housework, avoid the idea that there's one perfect way to move. Bend your knees sometimes, hinge at your hips sometimes, change positions often. Variety is protection. You don't need to move perfectly. You need to move confidently. Gardening is also a big fear for many people over 50. It involves bending, twisting, kneeling, all the movements people worry about. The answer isn't to avoid gardening, it's to do it in manageable doses. Break tasks into short blocks, change position regularly, stand up and walk around between tasks. Your back prefers movement spread out, not all in one go. Next, shopping bags, laundry baskets, lifting things around the house. These are the moments people fear most, but avoiding them completely actually makes your back less capable. Lifting is not the enemy. Unprepared lifting is. Keep things close to your body, move smoothly, exhale as you lift. And remember, strength training later in this video is what makes this feel easy again. Now, long car journeys, they're another big trigger for back pain. Not because sitting is dangerous, but because staying in one position for too long increases stiffness. So, adjust your seat so you're comfortable, not rigid. Use a small support if needed. Take breaks on longer journeys. And when you get out of the car, walk for a minute or two before bending or lifting. I want to say this clearly. Having a flare-up does not mean you've failed. It doesn't mean you've gone backwards. It means your system was temporarily overloaded. Flare-ups are part of recovery, not the opposite of it. Every time you bend without pain, carry something without fear, or move more freely than before, your nervous system updates its understanding. It learns this is safe. And confidence grows quietly in the background. Let's talk about something that scares people. Setbacks and flare-ups. That sudden thought, oh no, it's back. Here's what I want you to hear clearly. A flare-up is not failure. So say this with me. A flare-up is feedback, not failure. Flare-ups usually happen when load increases a bit too quickly, stress is higher, sleep has been poor, routines change. They do not erase progress. Think of it like fitness. If you overdo it one day, you feel it the next. That doesn't mean you're unfit. It means you need to adjust. So how should you respond? Don't panic. Don't stop everything. Reduce the load slightly. Keep gentle movement and stay calm. Most flare-ups settle within days, especially when fear stays low. Understanding setbacks stops them controlling you, and confidence is what allows recovery to stick. Once you start returning to life with confidence, the next step is making sure your back has the strength to support it. That's where we move into the bulletproof phase. Not to make you a gym hero, but to make everyday life feel easy again. So next we're now moving into the bulletproof phase. So we're building strength so it doesn't keep coming back. This is the phase most people skip, and it's why pain returns. Strength builds confidence. Confidence calms pain. Exercise 1 is our hip hinge with load. So again, we're going to hold a weight close to your chest. Feet hip width apart, push your hips back. Keep the weight close and then stand tall again. Slow, controlled. This builds real world strength. Lifting, carrying, daily life. 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Exercise 2 is our split squat. So take 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Lower your body straight down. Keep your chest upright. Push through the front foot to stand. Strong legs mean less strain on your back. Again, 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps on each side. Exercise 3 is the bird dog. So we're in this kneeling tabletop position on our hands and knees. Slowly lift the opposite arm and leg. Keep your body steady, no wobbling. Lower with control and switch sides. This teaches your core to support movement, not brace against it. 6 control reps on each side. Exercise 4 is our carries. So we're going to hold a weight in one hand. Doesn't have to be necessarily heavy. You're going to stand tall and walk slowly. Switch sides. This is shopping bags, suitcases, grandchildren. So this is life, this exercise. So 30 to 45 seconds on each side. At this point, you might be thinking, where do I start? Am I supposed to do all of this? What do I do tomorrow? So let me simplify this. You don't need to do everything. You need to do the right thing at the right time. Think of recovery in phases, not forever, just phases. Phase 1 is basically calming the system down. So if your back is sore right now, your priority is not strength, it's calming things down. That means gentle movements, pelvic tilts, knee hugs, and rock backs. Short walks as well. So 5 to 10 minutes once or twice a day. Comfortable positions, heat or cold if helpful. This phase is about sending one message: I'm safe. Not pushing, not stretching aggressively, not fixing anything, just calming. Phase 2 is to restore confidence. So once pain settles, the goal changes. Now it's about confidence, controlled movement, things like cat-cow, hip mobility, thoracic rotation, gentle bending. Daily activities come back gradually. Housework, short trips, light lifting. You're not testing your back, you're retraining trust. Then phase 3, which is build capacity. This is where most people stop, and it's why pain returns. Strength builds confidence. Confidence calms pain. This is where things like our hip hinges, split squats, carries, are core control. It's not heavy, it's not heroic, it's just consistent. This is how your back becomes capable again. You might move between phases, that's really normal. Progress isn't always a straight line. This plan isn't rigid either. It's responsive, and that's how recovery actually works. Let's talk honestly about recovery, because many people quietly wonder, is this as good as it gets? Recovery doesn't mean you never feel anything again. It means pain stops running your life. Real recovery looks like this: confidence returning, flare-ups becoming manageable, everyday tasks feeling easier, your back feeling capable again. So here's the key idea. The goal is not a perfect back. The goal is a capable back. Even people without back pain get stiff sometimes. The difference is they don't fear it. And fear is what we've been removing throughout this video. When expectations are realistic, you can recognize what's normal and what genuinely needs checking. And that then brings us to our final section. Before we finish, there's one more thing I want to cover, because even after everything we've talked about, many people still carry a quiet worry in the back of their mind. It sounds like this: but how do I know this isn't something serious? That question is completely understandable. So let's talk clearly and calmly about the difference between normal back pain and red flags, so you know when to be reassured and when to seek help. Because reassurance doesn't come from ignoring pain, it comes from understanding it. Let's start with what normal back pain usually looks like, especially over 50. So normal back pain comes and goes, can feel stiff in the morning, often eases as you move. May flare after busy days, but settles with gentle movement, improves gradually over time. This kind of pain can feel uncomfortable. It can be frustrating, but it is very rarely dangerous. One thing that often worries people is fluctuation. They think, if it was healing, it shouldn't hurt today. But healing is not a straight line. Good days and bad days are normal. Fluctuation does not mean damage. Ups and downs are part of recovery, not a warning sign. Some symptoms feel alarming, but are still very common and usually not serious. Things like pain that feels sharp when you first move, stiffness after sitting or sleeping, discomfort when bending or twisting, pain that improves once you've warmed up, soreness after doing more than usual. These are signs of sensitivity and deconditioning, not your spine falling apart. Red flags are not common, but they are important. They don't mean panic, they mean getting checked properly. Red flag number 1, unexplained weight loss or fever. If you've had unexplained weight loss, a persistent fever, or feel generally unwell alongside back pain, that's not something to ignore. It's uncommon, but it should be assessed. Red flag number 2, night pain that doesn't change. So most normal back pain changes with position, but pain that wakes you consistently at night, does not ease when you change position, feels deep and unrelenting, should be checked. This is rare but important. Then we have red flag number 3, which is significant trauma. If your back pain started after a significant fall, a car accident, or a heavy impact, especially if pain is severe or worsening, that's a reason to seek assessment. Red flag number 4, progressive weakness or numbness. Temporary symptoms into leg can happen with back pain. But if you notice increasing weakness, loss of coordination, numbness that's spreading or worsening, that should be checked promptly. Then red flag number 5 is bladder or bowel changes. So changes in bladder or bowel control or numbness around the saddle area are rare, but they are urgent. These symptoms should always be assessed immediately. So I want to put this into perspective. The vast majority of people watching this will never experience these red flags. Most back pain, even when it's sore, stiff, or frustrating, is not serious. Common does not mean dangerous. You know your body better than anyone. If someone feels genuinely unusual or symptoms are worsening rather than slowly improving, getting checked is the right thing to do. That's not weakness. That's sensible. But here's the balance I want you to find. Be informed, not fearful. Be sensible, not hypervigilant. Understanding red flags should give you confidence, not anxiety. When you know what's normal, what's not, and how to respond calmly, your back pain stops being a source of constant worry. And that confidence is what allows recovery to stick. Before we finish, I want to share something. These are the mistakes I see every single week in clinic. Not because people are careless, but because they're trying to help themselves. So, mistake number one, doing too much too soon. Pain settles, confidence rises, and people think, I'm fixed. They then do too much too quickly, and then the back reacts, and fear returns. Recovery needs progression, not leaps. Mistake number two, which is stopping as soon as pain goes. This one is really common. Pain eases, exercises stop, but pain relief is not resilience. Strength is what keeps pain away. Stopping early is like leaving a job half done. Mistake number three, avoiding movement out of fear. So people move stiffly. They brace constantly. They avoid bending. And without realizing it, they teach their body to stay sensitive. Avoidance keeps pain loud. Confidence quietens it. Mistake number four is chasing that perfect fix. So people search endlessly. New exercises, new gadgets, new opinions. But recovery is rarely about the perfect exercise. It's about consistency with the right approach. Most people don't need more information. They need reassurance and direction. And that's exactly what you now have. Now, finally, I want you to remember, your back is not fragile. It's adaptable. With understanding, gentle movement, and strength, pain stops being the boss. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be informed. Lower back pain is common, but living in fear of it doesn't have to be. When you understand your back, move it well, and strengthen it properly, it becomes one of the strongest parts of your body. So, subscribe, click the link for our playlist on back pain for follow-up videos, and check out the next video. Link should be on screen. It's called Beat Back Pain After 50, Simple Exercises and Lifestyle Changes. I'm Gavin Noble from Gavin Noble Physiotherapy and the Gavin Noble 10X Physio channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.